Hello, hello, my dear friends. Welcome back to Elena's Bar Low Impact Full Body Workouts. I hope you can hear us well. I'm today with Jared Mello from the Wizards of Radical Self-Respect and Melissa Magana or Magana. I'm not sure how do you spell your name. She's not here at the moment. We had a technical glitch, so hopefully she will be back. Melissa, come back to us. She will try to log in again.
She's
Okay,
trying. She's
she's
trying.
trying. Cool. Well, in the meanwhile, we are going to start, and I'm going to tell you how I actually reached out to Jared, to you, after one of Rollo's videos. I think both of us were watching his live stream, and then in the comments, there was one guy. I don't remember. I don't know if you remember him or not, but he was saying that wolves and humans are having the same intersexual dynamics and they are so similar. And then you say to him, I knew that guy was out of the reach, by the way, but then you say to him that, well, wolves and humans are not the same, they are different species. So you referred him to read more and educate himself on that comment. And
I
then
said
this
that.
is, yes, you said that. I'm like, oh, thank you. At least one rational guy out there. Well, there are a lot of rational
Well,
men
that's the thing.
watching.
I think of things in my own way now with everything. I've learned from all sorts of people. I've
Hmm.
learned from Democrat people, Republican people, conservative people, red pill people. I just try to filter it through what makes sense for me, as opposed to just going all in one direction or another. And that's why I'm not Republican, not Democrat, not conservative, not liberal, not progressive. I just make up my own mind on every individual thing.
Now, looking at it from the critical standpoint, right?
Right. Well,
So
I try to
you,
be objective where there are
hmm
some things I'll agree with one side on, and there's other things I'll agree with the other side on, right? So, what do we see in the manosphere right now, right? With Rollo, and then Fresh and Fit, and then people like playing with fire, who always has what's her face on there, not so erudite. They
oh gosh,
are in,
uh-huh.
are in the debate sphere now, right? Where they want to go back and forth with Rollo. And their big thing now is, did you hear about this? Their whole big thing now is that God Sod and Dr. David Buss, he's gone back on the dual mating hypothesis, right? Where they say it's no longer alpha Fs and beta bucks. It's
Bugs.
like, no, no,
Uh-huh.
no, that's not true anymore, they say. Dr. David Buss has taken it back. And they say Rollo wants to keep it. He wants to say it's still true. But Rollo says that David Buss is just kind of pressured into not believing it anymore. And there's a whole side of it there where they're just like, oh, Rollo's clueless, Rollo's this. But they want to debate him on that. There's a lot of people who think the red pill does a lot of bad stuff, is what they think. They think it's harmful. So
Yeah.
I think it has the potential to be. I think it has the potential to be if they go down some MGTOW rabbit hole
Yeah.
and they start hating on women because they do end up like really disliking women a lot of times, and I don't really think that's very productive. But this is what I would debate them on. So like not so erudite, I would debate her on incels because I think there are a lot of guys that, through no fault of their own, they're just not that attractive to women. They can try to work with what they got, but ultimately, here's the thing: you don't choose your parents, you don't choose your genes, you don't choose your face, you don't choose how tall you are, you don't choose a lot of your personality, even too. I think you're kind of born with a temperament, and between your nature plus nurture, that turns into your personality. So there all these variables that mean a lot when it comes to women are out of your control. So if some guy's ugly and short and has a bland personality, or maybe he's on the spectrum, maybe, so he's awkward, what is that guy gonna do? That guy has it tough. He's gonna have it tougher than another guy. Now the fresh and fit guys would say, well, or as MLD John Modern Life Dating would say. He's like, well, money, fame, or what do you say? Money, game, frame, muscles. That's
Muscles,
what it
yeah.
is. Yeah, so the four things. And he's right, but it really depends how good you can do with that on what you're starting with. There are
Yeah,
some guys, they'll do that, and they should really do that because it'll impact them greatly and they will benefit from it. I feel like I'm one of those guys, right? I'm a guy that if I dedicate myself to self improvement and money and staying in shape, I'll get good benefits. Yes, that is true. But I don't think that's as true for everyone. Where I think they might get benefits in other areas of life, but the woman area of life may always be a struggle for them. But it's hard, especially in this day right now. Like, look at social media right now. Social media opens up all these opportunities for women to meet guys that they never had the opportunity to meet before. Even if
true.
it's just locally, right?
Yeah,
People think about this, Elena. Think about this. Ready? I'm going to do a thought experiment with you. The
please
thought
do.
the thought experiment is this. Picture before social media, before smartphones. How did anyone meet anyone?
Well, they had to go locally to the local places through friends, through family, through school, college. This is one of the reasons why women went to college to begin with, so that they could meet the guy, marry, and settle. Look at Kate Middleton and Prince William, and a lot of women met their husbands that way. But now, if
Yes.
you look at college, what happened now, there are more women in college. Men are not attending. I remember Rollo was actually talking about psychology, but it applies to pretty much all college degrees. Um, you look at psychology, for example, and I was studying psychology. I switched majors. I started with psychology and then I switched into communications and mass media. And out of 30 or like 25 people in the group, there were only two men in that group. The rest of them were women. So Rollo is right in that regard, because psychology is mostly taught by women. Although we had a few male teachers, I think that I was lucky with my teachers. We had quite a few male teachers out there, but they were old generation. They taught us how to think. We had like reason and argument classes. We had psychology. We had a lot of interesting classes out there. But for students, younger generation, most of them were women in communications and mass media, something that is not STEM, like engineering, science, technology, medicine, right? Women go for easier degrees. And yeah, only two men, out of which one man was a gay. So
Yeah.
it's
See?
like,
Well, men aren't going to school as much as they used to, college. They still do, but just not as much, I don't think. And I think they said not so I was listening to Not So Erudite on Playing with Fire the other day. They were going over what Rollo was saying about them. She had said
mhm.
36% of Americans have a college degree. Now, I think so back to the thing I said to you. So before social media, how did people meet? In person. But
Yeah.
now that you can meet anyone on Bumble, Tinder, Plenty of Fish, Hinge, what else? Seeking, the Sugar Daddy site,
I met my
all these
husband through
options.
social media too. Not social media, but the dating app, because
Right. And that opens
I
up the
had no luck,
opportunities
like
for women.
going out, and I didn't go out too much. This is the problem. The people who are busy, they are stuck at work. Neither men nor women have really time or energy to go out if they are busy studying, working, traveling, to meet people in person anymore. You know?
Well, yeah, and that's why the phone becomes so convenient for people to just swipe. And even Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, even to a lesser extent, but really Facebook and Instagram, You meet
Mhm.
people locally in a way that you just couldn't before. It's just a way to meet people that you never could. So it opens up all these opportunities for women. Now, it doesn't mean they're good opportunities, mind you, but it just gives them a lot of suitors. There's a lot of male suitors for even just average looking women now. An average woman can get a lot of suitors. They'll get attention. If they post pictures of themselves on Instagram and Facebook, they're going to get a lot of attention. And so, and this is the big thing, Elena, right? Ready for this? So, this is the biggest difference between my generation, which is basically your generation, and our parents and their parents, is the guys that only would provide something like a steady job. That was all they needed to do. Up until like the 70s, 80s, 90s. You could be a guy
Mhm.
and you provide something for a woman, and that was enough. But that is no longer true at all, right? So now women, they're doing well, and when women are doing well, what do they want? They want the
More.
other things. They want
Yeah.
the other things now. And there's a lot, and what they're learning is there's a lot of guys that just kind of fall through the cracks because they're not really what women want. And
Well,
so,
and it comes down to the point that no matter what guys do nowadays, it's never going to be enough because women can do it, they can achieve whatever they want by themselves. This is what we've been telling them to do on social media, in the movies. Look what movies are shown on Netflix. How is our friend doing there?
oh, I don't
Okay.
know. What did she say?
Redirecting the link. 1 second. Let me switch devices. No, come back. She believes inside. Oh my god. So cute. Come back. I had a lot of signs today. My day started by losing the house keys and the car keys, Jared. I couldn't get to the fitness
Melly's
studio today.
fired. She's
So many,
fired.
yeah, so many signs.
Sign, everywhere a sign. Blocking out the
I,
scenery, breaking my mind. Can you play that song on the piano?
oh, which one?
Signs. You know you play the Pink Panther. But can
Yeah,
you
yeah.
play that 60s song, Signs? You ever heard of
Signs.
it?
I'll try. I need to check it. Yeah.
It's a 60s song, and then they remade it in the 80s, but it's called
Okay.
Signs.
60
It's a good song.
song.
How
I'm
about, can
going
you
to write it
play
down.
Bohemian Rhapsody on the piano?
Uh, I don't think so. No,
You should
I'm.
learn.
I should learn. Yeah.
So Billy Joel, Elton John, Queen. I think that would be good. 'Cause I like to do music.
Okay. I'll check those songs.
I liked
They're
your
going to take
intro
me a
too on
while.
StreamYard here. It's the first time I've seen your intro. It's good. That's a new
Oh,
intro, isn't it?
oh, it's been a while there. I haven't changed
Was it
it.
there for that one? The piano and everything? I saw the last time I was here, there was the countdown, but that intro wasn't there.
Ah, maybe because I didn't insert it. You have to choose to place it in
Okay.
there. Yeah,
I
maybe
see.
I skipped through it because I don't know. It's just I sometimes forget to turn it on when I'm busy checking the comments and I'm still learning how to use the StreamYard.
But
So
as long as
yeah.
the StreamYard doesn't snap, crackle, and pop, there's a lot of times StreamYard, like if you don't have a good internet connection,
Yeah,
it
it can.
fades in and out. So I'm hoping this cord that I have plugged in, I'm hoping it doesn't do that right now. Like I'm still hearing, I still sound good. There's no interruptions in the connection.
Yeah, good, good.
Okay,
It
good.
it happens sometimes with the signal downstairs when this is one of the reasons why I stopped using the StreamYard for my piano live streams because it sometimes comes with delay And
Okay.
people have been telling me, those who were listening to the live stream, that the sound cuts out and then it gets interrupted and then it restarts again, but I'm already forward. And yeah, I stopped using it because it just doesn't work well. Cool. So we'll see if she shows up.
I mean, she should probably just hit the link again, I would think. If you hit
Yeah,
the link again,
this
I
is
don't know
what
why it
she's
wouldn't
supposed
work.
to do. Okay, I'm going to text her just again.
Tell her she's fired if she doesn't figure it out.
Second time, huh?
Like Trump would say, you're fired.
Yeah. Well, I
Well,
really
I'll
like
tell
her.
you.
She's a nice person, and I actually rewatched the interview with you and her, and I love the way how you ask questions. Okay, let me give it a try. She says, "Yeah, I really enjoyed that interview. I just had more questions to her about that relationship because I think that all of us could benefit from that kind of experience when we are surrounded by so many narcissists, even though they're not like clinically narcissists, but they have narcissistic tendencies.
Yeah,
And a lot of
traits.
people, yeah, or traits, yeah. So I even saw some familiarity in that. She didn't go like too deep into the behavior. So this is what I wanted to ask her about, like specific behavior that that
Have
person
you ever
did.
dated one?
I think one of my relatives, actually, a couple of my relatives are narcissists. I didn't date
Ooh,
them, but
lucky for you.
yeah, yeah. This is why I was trying to bring her over here and ask her a few more
Well,
questions
did you
about
know
it.
the one guy there was her ex that jumped on the stream? A guy that was
Yeah, I
talking
found
there.
it interesting. Yeah.
That was why. Well, he was basically stalking her pretty much and
Wow.
trying to
Yeah.
find. Is why I didn't know that's who that was until afterwards. Then I was like, oh, I see. But
Yeah.
it fits the
He seemed
profile.
nice though, and this
He
is what
seemed it.
they, yeah. I was like,
But
wow, this guy, he was nice. He said that he still loved her. Do you remember during the live stream?
oh, she
He,
said something. Well, he just. I don't remember exactly what he said, but
mm,
just the fact that he was there was a little interesting.
yeah.
But so you are married now. Did you date a lot before that, or what was your life like before that?
Oh gosh, I didn't date a lot of guys because I kind of always wanted to settle. So I was looking for the right person to marry and to settle. So I didn't have a lot of boyfriends, and I had a very long break in between them. That gave me time to realize what I did wrong. Maybe I was like picking on myself. Maybe I could have done this better. I could have done that better. Just to analyze what really happened. And I dated pretty much really nice guys. They were all stable, all serious, but it just either I was too young, or I was listening to my mother who was telling me, "Oh, don't marry yet. You still have time," or like friends.
Oh,
Why do you want to settle now when you don't have the degree yet? And okay, I graduated from one school, then I went to the next school, and and they're like, what's
well,
the
you know
point of,
what?
yeah,
How
and
old
oh,
were
and
you
then
then?
when back in school, back in the
Yeah.
college, I didn't date my classmates. It was a rule for me. Like number one, I don't date my co-workers. I don't date my classmates because rumors spread fast,
They
and we are
would.
all in the same school. I remember one girl, she was, oh gosh, she was telling me all the stories, all the funny stories about every guy out there. She knew everything about everyone, and she dated a bunch of them. And she was telling me, "Oh, this guy has these issues. This guy has those issues. In case you are interested."
Oh
I'm like, "Well,
no.
thank you for telling me that, but I'm not, I'm not interested in them."
So she tried.
So
She tried them all.
she tried them all, yes, and she was trying to bring more awareness about those guys to me, but I was like, okay, this information is completely useless to me because I'm not interested in those guys, you know.
Well,
But
you know what
then,
happens though? These women, they don't look for serious partners a lot of times until they're older now. Like they don't even look until their later 20s. But when they're younger, they just like, especially their mid 20s, like low 20s to mid 20s, a
mhm,
lot of them just want to have fun. They just,
yeah,
and girls just want to have fun, they say. And so they have
yeah,
fun. And but I think it's a dangerous thing for them to do, because if you
it
really
is,
want
yeah,
a serious relationship, the younger you start looking and trying, the better. You'll get more relationship experience. But if you've just played the field and casually dated, your relationship muscle just isn't very strong. You don't know how to do it. If you've never done it, how do you learn to do it? Like you gotta dip your foot in the pool a little bit just to see, because it's a skill. Being in a relationship, knowing how to think about someone else and care about their needs too, like that's something that if you're just single for a long time, you don't really learn how to do that. You only got to think about yourself.
yeah. I started feeling comfortable when I was 23, 24, and I say to myself, if I don't marry now, I will never marry, because I was already getting to the point when I didn't need a man. I was comfortable living by myself. And then I said, okay, this guy, if he's okay, I
Right.
mean, if he's a reasonably nice guy, I'm marrying him. You know, I'm done. I don't want to wait anymore. I don't want to be single. I don't want to, how Kevin Samuels would say, like, buy a dog and die alone when I'm 40,
How old were
you
you when
know,
you got married?
50. Well, after I found out about Kevin Samuels, thanks to my husband, and also about Rollo Tomassi.
That's how you met new Kevin Samuels, from your husband?
Yes, because
Okay.
he indirectly, I had some family history of codependent
Okay.
relationships with certain family members. So my husband introduced me into Rollo Tomassi. Well, first Kevin Samuels, and then I started digging in, and I found Rollo, and I started listening to Rollo Tomassi, and I agree 100% with, like, maybe not the money side of the things what he's saying, but in terms of relationship, I think he's 100% right. Yeah, the
How
sooner
old were
women
you when you got
realize.
married?
Oh, I got married when I was 26. Yeah,
That's a good age, I would say, to get married as a woman, 25, 26. And you
yeah.
have your whole life in front of you then. So, like, if you want to have kids, you can have kids. You have
I would
time.
I would even say that if it's an international marriage, marrying at 26 is kind of late, because it takes a few years to settle down in a foreign country. But if you marry sooner, I've known a few girls who married foreigners, but they've married earlier and then they had kids, because I don't have children. I think that, look, if I married my second boyfriend and listened less to my mother, whom I love my mom very dearly, but like, seriously, if I wanted to have children back then, I should have married my second boyfriend, and by now I probably would have had kids, you know. But now I don't regret. It's just a fact. The longer you wait, the more I look at the society, what happens around me, the less I want to have children, honestly, you know, because
What do you think about this? They could say one of the goals of having children would be to create good children, to create good humans, to try to make the world better. That's what Jordan Peterson says, I think. You know Jordan Peterson?
yeah, yeah, I
Do you
know.
ever do you ever listen to him?
I did, yeah, for a while, but I don't agree with everything that he's saying, you know.
What don't you agree with him on?
I well, the relationship with the intersexual dynamics between men and women, how I don't think he Let me be straight. I don't think he's an alpha. You know, this is why I don't listen to him.
Okay. Okay. Kevin Samuels is different than Jordan Peterson, but Kevin Samuels would listen to Jordan Peterson. Now, Jordan Peterson has said something like, if a woman doesn't choose you, she's right. And in a way, I get what he means, where if a woman's rejecting you, it means there's something going on that she's not attracted to you, right? So as a guy,
Yeah.
and there are some people who just won't be your preference, right? There could be a guy that has his act together, but if you as the woman aren't in a good spot for it, or just aren't, that's just not your flavor, then you're still not going to like him. So it's not always like there's something wrong with the guy. Sometimes there is just a matter of preference. But a lot of times, the guys do stupid things. There are guys that say stupid things and do stupid things. You might get that as a woman creator on here, right? You might get guys that talk all sorts of who knows what to you. I don't know, but it wouldn't surprise me, to put it like that.
Well, I think that those girls who expose themselves more on social media in provocative clothes, they get more of that kind of attention. I'm more on the
Yes,
conservative side, so but I still get the sympathy is real, and it's really frustrating, you know. And this man, there is no way around it. No matter how you tell them, like, look, stop simping, because you, by doing that, by pedestalizing women, you encourage the bad behavior on the female side, and then you're surprised why women don't look at you. Well,
right.
do you simp for women? This is maybe one of the
Let me
reasons
ask you a
why.
question. What do you think a simp is? I have a definition of a simp that I use, but what do you think one is?
Do you remember that movie, cartoon, like Tom and Jerry, like when the
Yeah.
eyes pop up and the tongue falls out?
Yeah.
This is kind of it, you know. If
That's simping to
men
you.
just
Okay.
yeah, men just say the compliments all the time to a woman that, oh, you're so perfect, you're this great. And I see a lot of married men on social media, on Instagram, for example, a married couple, and a guy puts his wife, and then all of his profile is about his wife. This is a simpage to me, as far as I understand it. Correct me if I'm wrong. And so he tells how much he values her, that she's the best thing that has ever happened to him. I mean, yeah, but it's your profile. You know, you can
Right.
share some of your stuff there as well. You don't need to constantly talk about your wife and how great she is. And it looks like to me, from the media standpoint, that the wife has control over his content, what he puts out there, you know. So he's not allowed to think for himself. Whatever decisions, you can see it in the family dynamics a lot, that the wives are the controlling figure. They tell men what the men should be doing, and the men are like, yes ma'am, yes ma'am. So they can't say no to her, because the moment they do, she collects her things, the divorce papers are right here, and then she finds somebody else. So this is the guy who doesn't have the frame, you know. And you mentioned it, actually. I loved your explanation as well. You say it's somebody who doesn't respect himself.
Yeah. That's my definition, yes. The man, simp is a man who disrespects himself for women. And that can mean all sorts of things, right? It could be the guy who spends all of his money on OnlyFans. It can be the
Mm-hmm.
guy that takes back his woman after she cheated on him. It can
Yeah.
be the guy that doesn't stand up for
Mm-hmm.
himself. It can be the guy that, and this is probably a more common way, but it's the guy that feels like he has to put himself down and to praise her. So like
Yeah.
Rollo would say, the guy that thinks he's got to make himself be less so that she can be more. That does kind
Mm-hmm.
of annoy me. Now I saw it today. You mentioned it. I saw on my Facebook today a guy that said, and just the way he framed it, they all frame
Yeah.
it like women are better than them, right? And they'll say, "Thanks for putting up with me. for so long. And I'm like, why do you have to frame it in the way that it's putting up with you and like she's better than you? Now, if a guy's just joking, oh fine, whatever. But like if you're not joking, I don't think it's necessary to have to talk down about yourself to give her credit. It's like, no, you don't have to talk bad about yourself, because I do think talking bad about yourself is disrespecting yourself. I think
Yeah.
you got to be really mindful of how you talk to yourself, of your mindset. That stuff is so powerful. So I don't like it. That's like the most common way. Like, and so a guy that has an Instagram and all he's going to talk about is his wife, I don't really think that's necessary. You can praise your wife. Like, and this is the misconception too, right? People think, oh, it doesn't. You can't. You mean simping is when you do something good for a woman? It's like, no, that's not simping. You can do good things for a woman. You can show love for a woman, but there comes a point where it goes too far, and that's the point
Hmm.
where I would say now you're simping, right? And so, yeah, I mean, if you have an Instagram account, you don't need to talk about your significant other the whole time. And you know what they
Hmm.
say? A private relationship is often a good relationship. The relationship where you gotta blast it on social media
True.
comes seems more like an insecure relationship a lot of times. Now, I'm not saying you should hide your partner, because there are like manipulators and cheaters that do that, right? They hide their partner so they can go cheat and do what they want. I'm not saying to do that, but you don't need to be blasting them every other day. It's like, it's like vomit. Blah! Like, I
Yeah,
don't think you haven't done that.
I don't put my husband. He doesn't want to be on social media, and I even don't put anything family related. Just my dog. I mean, but a
Right.
lot of people like dogs, and I'm one of them.
Yeah,
And
I like dogs.
yeah, if I had a child, for example, I would not have put a child on social media. I even said that people should not be putting their children up there because it's not very objective. Uh, I get it, like maybe one picture of the family, but then why to make your account public so that people that you don't know can see what you live like, what's your family like? There are a lot of creeps out there as well on social media.
Sure,
You are
sure.
not secured. Whatever you put publicly can be used against you, and why to expose yourself? Why to expose your children? What I don't understand, and I have a few friends who they monitor every single step of their children. Oh, the kid has pooped. Okay, let's take a picture, put it up there. Oh, he smiled. Oh, he said this word. Oh, he said that word. And then they put all of the history in chronological order. And then what happens to this kid when he grows up? All of his life is going to be exposed on social media, whether he wants it or not. So he won't be able to become a politician. He won't be able to do a lot of things just because their parents were too busy getting the likes and the dopamine hit for themselves.
Yeah, that's a good point.
This is something that I find it narcissistic, by the way. This is
It
what I
is.
wanted to talk to you about because you seem to be an expert in narcissism. Can you tell me if you have any psychology degree or
Well,
counseling?
I've gone to school to do addictions counseling. That's one thing I did. And then I went to the Masters of Mental Health Counseling program at Rider, and I did that to become a coach. But I didn't learn as much about narcissism there as I did from reading a lot of books from doctors and learning from my own life. That's where I learned a lot of it. And there's a lot of experts here on YouTube too that are doctors. And
Yeah,
I learned from everybody. But there's a lot of people that post their children all day, every day. And here's the
yeah,
thing about that. So, a narcissistic parent, they think their children are extensions of themselves. So, any praise the child gets is praise for them, basically. Right? So, and often they'll have a favorite, they'll have a golden child, that they praise constantly, and then they fall into roles as they get older, right? And there are some parents, like a borderline mother, for example. She love bombs the infants and then devalues the toddlers and is discarded emotionally when they're older kids. It's a vicious cycle. But
Yeah.
BPD mothers can do some damage if they're not aware of what they have going on. But there is a lot of narcissistic parents, unfortunately, and predators, male or female for that matter, predators, they look for women that are going to be single mothers. And especially if the daughters are older, that's putting them in harm's way. And they don't think about it with, oh, could they be a politician now if their whole life is on social media? It won't help them. And they can't consent to it. It's like, does a kid want their whole life on social media? Do you think they would? I'm not sure.
Probably not.
I'm glad my life wasn't all on social media. I know that.
Me too.
But they don't have a choice now when their parents are doing that. If your parents are doing that, I mean, they might resent it when they're a teenager or something, but they're not even giving them a choice in the matter because it's not about the
Exactly.
kid. It's about them and the praise and the admiration and the narcissistic supply that they're getting from all that attention they get from posting their children. So it's like selfish, really. I
Yeah.
saw a book the other day that said it's it's like what happens when people control others. You're going to start to dislike them if you feel controlled by somebody else because when they're doing that, they're getting their needs met at your expense. So a narcissistic parent that does that, posts their children all the time, they're getting their needs met at the child's expense.
Expense. Yeah.
Not good. Not good. And we'll see because this social media stuff, it's not just in the romantic sphere that it affects things. It affects things everywhere. It
Everywhere.
affects things in all walks of life. And we're going to see how we handle it as a human species right now. It's still relatively new, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
basically since 2008 and it's
Yeah.
2023. So it's only been around for 15 years. Who knows how people are going to adapt to it? Maybe, like, I'm not sure. I don't think it's going anywhere, though. Like, do you think people will not have a smartphone in their hands at all times? Do you think we can ever go back to, like, this is the thought I thought about the other day.
Yeah.
Do you think that a smartphone could ever be like cigarettes? Like, you know how we look at cigarettes now is that
Yeah, I
cigarettes are
know.
so
Very
terrible
addictive.
and harmful?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe phones, after they do all of these studies and they look at what it does to your brain and your health, like your mental health, maybe
Yeah.
smartphones, people will look at that the way we look at cigarettes now. I don't know. Just speculation on my part, but I don't think the powers to be want that because there's just too much money. There's too much business and money in smartphones now. And
True.
the access to social media that they provide. So they're never going to want people to stop that now.
Yeah. Well, this is why it's important to raise awareness and critical thinkers so that people don't trust what they are being told. I see a lot of bullshit courses. I was debunking a few of them on my Instagram, and it's
Which
just
ones?
everywhere. The courses that were promising women how to find the man and wrap him around your finger. It was gosh, I'm going to make a separate video, Jared, so keep an eye on that one. It's going to be a lot of fun. We are going to debunk it with Melody. I don't know if you've met Melody before. I don't think you've met Melody. You've met Piquet, right? You've talked to Piquet. So we're
I
going
believe
to
so.
do,
Yeah.
yeah, we're
The
going to do
guy.
that video on the weekend with her. I have a presentation prepared, and I hit the people's faces so that they can't go after me, so that they don't take the video down. Because I actually got in trouble by debunking some bullshit by one fitness instructor, and then she threatened if you don't take it down and blah blah blah. And then she also threatened all of the people who were attending the live stream with me. They were effectively engaged in that stream. It was good content versus bad, misleading content. That's the video that we did. And the message, I'm not attacking people personally, but this is how they take it. And fitness world, fitness instructors are not mentally stable nowadays. Not all of them. I mean, if you see a few men, they are more likely to be more
I get
stable
you.
than a human, you know.
What were you
But
saying that you disagreed with about what they
um,
were saying?
um, she was saying that stay away from people who contradict you, who don't agree with you. And I was saying that it's their own kind of message to send out to the masses. And she has a big following, bigger than mine in comparison. And I think that contradiction is good. It's healthy for you because it challenges your belief system. And if you look at
Yes.
science, they are always trying to find the data or the proof that contradicts their thesis. This is something that makes us stronger. This is something that helps us to find the truth, you know. But then she said, "Oh, this is kind of your truth." She implied it. You know, you can, this kind of content leaves a lot of room for interpretation. This is why I call it very confusing and very misleading, you know,
Right.
because it allows people to take it the way that they want to twist it and interpret it the way that feels good for them at the
Right.
moment, that feels convenient and comfortable, that supports their beliefs and their viewpoints at the moment, but they don't see beyond their eyes, you know.
It sounds
And
like
this
she
is,
wants an echo chamber, is what she wants. She just wants everyone to agree. But
yeah,
that's how you get people that don't know how to defend their ideas. Because if they're never exposed to another opinion, you don't know how to defend your idea, and then you just get upset when you hear a different opinion. So I've had to
exactly.
force myself. I force myself to listen to everyone, whether it's a Republican, a Democrat, Destiny, or Rollo. I listen to all the sides, and then I take it in through my filter, and I'm like, okay, what do I agree with, and what do I not agree with? But that,
Exactly.
but you have to expose the ideas to scrutiny, because if you don't, your ideas will become weaker, and you'll just become, like Jordan Peterson would say, an ideologue. You become someone that knows the script, but you don't really know why you believe what you do. Like you just, and at that point, they have an ego investment in believing what they
Mm-hmm.
believe, and they are afraid. Like here's a couple things to look for. I think, right? A person that can admit when they're wrong about something. That's a pretty big thing now, and it helps me to know that person is in good faith. They can admit when they're wrong. That's a good one, right? And someone that can say a Republican versus Democrat. If you're going to say one of the sides just hates America and wants to see America burn, that's probably not true. Like the other side, you might completely disagree with what they want done and how they want it done. But chances are they probably don't want America to be destroyed, right? They just have a very different way of thinking. So, but there are some people, they can't even admit that part. They'll just say, nope, the other side is just awful and wants
Mm-hmm.
America to burn. But that's how you know, like, you're just talking to somebody that they just want to preach to the choir. And there's a lot of that going on right now, too. Preach to the choir, no interesting ideas. There's not very many people that are in the middle. Like, I
Yeah.
do listen to Destiny now more because he does at least talk to everybody. And I might not agree with everything he says, but he's having a lot of the discussions. And I've learned a lot from him. And guess what? it was very uncomfortable at first too, because he did make me change my mind about a couple of different things, and on things that I never thought I would change my mind on. But I pushed through it. So, but now I don't subscribe to anyone wholeheartedly. I always have a little bit of scrutiny for everybody.
Yeah. I wish people did that more. Because
Yeah,
even
people
if
don't.
you look at how many subscribers you have, it doesn't mean anything, because if people don't watch your content, if people don't contribute
Right.
to the channel, or they don't comment, it means that you're just speaking to the void. It's like sometimes I feel like I'm
Dead
teaching the
subscribers. There's a lot of
classes.
dead
Where
subscribers
are
on
they?
YouTube.
Huh?
Right. Like I don't have that many, but like a lot of the subscribers I have, they're dead subscribers where like they're just not
Yeah.
there. Like they're there, it looks like they're there, but you really only know by how many people watch your longer form videos.
Yeah.
But here's the thing YouTube's running into trouble with, right? So TikTok and the short form content, that's killing it right now. Killing it. And so Instagram and Facebook had to compete. So they do reels. And now YouTube, to compete, they got to do shorts. And I don't know about you, but when I do shorts, they get way more views. They get way more views than the
They
longer
do.
form
Yeah.
stuff. And it's like an advertisement for your channel. Right? So a short, I put a short out there and it advertises the channel. And I see my subscribers go up when I start doing more shorts. But
Yeah.
at the same point, if those subscribers are not going to watch like the main channel, then it's just a vanity metric at that point.
I'll tell
It's
you a funny thing that happened to me a few times actually throughout this journey with YouTube. I was putting these short videos of piano. People usually subscribe to listen
yeah.
to more piano videos, but then I put some red pill stuff, something that contradicts and
Ah,
forces people to think, and then I lose like a couple of subscribers. It's like
I could see that.
one step forward, two steps back, and then again,
Yeah.
one step forward, two
A
steps
lot of
back.
them would unsubscribe to you when you did.
Huh?
A lot of people would unsubscribe to you when you did that.
Yeah, I guess people just don't want, or they want to see it as the entertainment for the most part. But I don't consider myself an entertainer. I mean, I'm glad if people
I
find
got
me
you.
amusing, but it's not the purpose of the channel. Sometimes I get some stupid requests from guys, but I usually ignore them and I refer them to OF, or other, sites. OF, yeah. Yeah, but. It's not the core of the channel what I'm doing here. I'm trying to
Right.
bring more awareness. If I can help people with fitness to stay fit and stronger and healthier, that's great, but they need to attend the classes. And I used to do more shorts for fitness, but then I noticed what happens on Instagram. A lot of fitness instructors, and that Instagram is flooded with fitness instructors, with yoga, everything. Everyone is
Sure.
posting there. Even men are doing. To me, it appears to be like I'm not actually teaching a class. I'm just advertising, and not just a class or a course, but I'm advertising myself, my body. So I stopped doing it. I do it sometimes if people ask me, oh, can you cover this pose, or like explain the neutral
I see.
spine like really quickly, something that would click in their minds and educate them, rather than show off my body. I know I have a decent body. I don't need to prove it to the rest of the world. If they don't want to be healthy, it's their problem. If they don't want to join us for the classes, it's not my problem. I'm trying to teach classes. So I kind of restructured it a little bit, and then I don't get a lot of subscribers subscribing for the live classes
Right.
when I'm running them. So it's like if I get a
It's a
few
balancing act for women.
yeah,
It's a balancing act for women because they got to balance out, should I show skin or accentuate sex appeal versus stick to the content. And
yeah,
there's a lot of women A lot of them do both, right? Like, Courtney Ryan.
Oh yeah, I know her. Hmm.
Yeah, so she's got more subscribers than almost anyone in the red pill besides Fresh and Fit and entrepreneurs and cars, right? But so she's a girl dating coach for men. And you better believe she has that many subscribers. A lot of it is because of how she looks, right? And a lot of men, they can't help it but to go to a woman for help. And it just so happens a lot of the women that do the best with the men are attractive too. I don't think that's a coincidence. But these guys, they just can't help themselves. When I think most of them should be going to guys, right? If you want a
I
guy,
think so too.
most,
Yeah,
but they
yeah.
don't like it, right? They'd rather go to Courtney Ryan. They'd
Oh, she
rather go,
also she can empathize with them, right? Empathize is the
right.
word.
And they'll be
Or
like, she's like their mother. Oh, it's okay.
yeah, like,
Aren't women
oh,
so
so
terrible?
sorry.
Oh,
Oh, you
yeah.
poor guy. Let me
And that's
pet
what they
you.
want. That's what a lot of these guys want. Or Sadia. Do you know Chris Williamson?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Chris Williamson had a woman, Sadia is her name.
Uh-huh.
She taught psychology, but now she's a relationship coach. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
she's attractive and she coaches a lot of guys. And it's the same kind of thing. But she's smart. I'm not saying she's not smart. She's intelligent and she's very well spoken. But I guess my point is a lot of guys, they would love to go to someone like her as opposed to a guy that might be able to help them even more.
Yeah.
Right? There are guys in the red pill world, Ryan Stone, Paul, Troy Francis. Like these are guys, even not that I consider myself in the red pill world, but like me or any of those guys, they would help you a lot as a guy in a way that most women probably can't. And it's not this, I don't say that to be sexist. I just say that to be realistic. I think realistically, other men can help men better. And just like I think other women that understand women problems can probably help women better in most aspects. Not all. Now, I do help. Here's the other thing, Elena. Now that I talk about narcissism more women listen to me now.
I
Than they
know
used.
this was another question I actually wanted to ask you. How do you find it that a lot of women come to you for help and for advice?
It's changed. It's changed because when I was giving dating advice for men, a lot of men don't care, right? Now, there's certain guys that go, like in the red pill world, and they'll watch Fresh and Fit. They'll listen to Rollo or Entrepreneurs in Cars or Better Bachelor. But unless you're like on the fringe like that and pushing it, like a lot of guys just kind of don't care. But now that I talk to women, you know, it has changed, I guess, a little bit how I see things. I see things from their perspective now more. And you know the struggle that I see them have? The struggle that I see them have is the narcissistic guy is a little more confident, a little more fun, a little more adventurous, more like the bad boy, and it's just more exciting. And there's guys that are probably be good partners, but they're just not exciting. They're not as confident, they're not as fun, and a lot of women just don't go for them. And so they go for the same kind of guys over and over and over again.
How was it?
And
The triad qualities in a
dark
guy,
triad.
the dark
Wi-
triad. Yeah,
Women, a lot of women are a
love bad
sucker.
boys.
They're a sucker for some dark triad. Let me tell you.
Uh-huh.
And it's just is, right? I think there's something like evolution involved in there, evolutionary biology, but it's just they have some attractive qualities. And to have a chance with women, you got to get the attraction down first. Like for most women, if they're not even going to see you, then you got no shot. Like, you got to at least have something going for you as the guy. Confidence, looks, something to get the woman's attention. And unfortunately, there's a lot of guys that don't, they're just not as socially calibrated. So, not as socially intelligent, maybe. And it's hard for those guys. Some of them maybe are neurodivergent or on the spectrum, but there's a big difference between the guys who are confident and do well with women and then the guys who don't. And the guys who don't, they got a lot of work to do. Because, like, I wasn't always socially calibrated. I was a guy that was pretty awkward and had a lot of anxiety. And it took a while. It took a while to get through that. And, like, I take supplements and things that help too. But it took a long time. And from where I was, like when I was in my early 20s, I was clueless in comparison. I'm 38 now. But when I was 23, 24, I was clueless. And I don't want to discourage guys, but for a lot of guys, they are far away from success. And they got to put in a lot of work. Now, that's not all guys. Some guys, they get it very early. Like the guys who are good with women in high school, they're usually pretty confident. They're usually maybe a little more on the narcissistic dark triad side. But they do well with women very fast. Like from middle school. From middle school on, they're doing good. And then there's everybody else, right? The guys that are anxiety and whatever. And it's just hard for them.
Well, and just to clarify it for the people out there, that dark triad traits are not narcissistic traits. They might
it's one of them.
appear like that. Yeah.
Well, dark triad is narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy. So like a psychopath, a narcissist. That's not a DSM term, but Machiavellianism is basically someone who is into power and they treat people with little empathy and like chess pieces to get what they want. And it came from Machiavelli, the guy who wrote The Prince in Italy. I think it was the 1600s. But that's the dark triad. So narcissism, psychopathy, and Machiavellianism. And I'm actually interviewing a guy, H.G. Tudor. He's a narcissistic psychopath. So that'll be interesting. He's got a lot of subscribers too, but I'll be curious to see what he says. But he's got that kind of English bad boy thing going on. And he's older though. So I'll be interested what he has to say.
Yeah, that would be cool. Let me know when you're running that interview. I'd love to join you.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's going to be... I think we're going to record it first, and then I'm going to upload it, I think, is how we're doing it. But
okay,
I'll be curious what his like red flags are, like what his what he doesn't want to talk about, you know?
Yeah. Because in order to keep a woman, see, a lot of guys, they can attract a woman no problem, because women are always attracted to the resources, something that they want more of. And look at Jeff Bezos. He's a total beta, but he's been married second time, or is he just dating her?
I think he's got engaged to Lauren Sanchez.
All right. Engaged, and apparently he hasn't learned any lessons. And
I don't know why he's doing it. I don't know why he needs to be married. Like he's already made Mackenzie Bezos the richest woman in America almost from divorce. She got like 30 billion or something.
She's the best trader.
Yeah. Now, did she contribute to his success? Perhaps. She probably did. But does anyone need $30 billion from a divorce? I don't think so. But I mean, Bezos, if I was Bezos, I'd just be having fun. Why not just have fun? Why do you need to be married?
Oh, exactly. Look at Leonardo DiCaprio, and I hear a lot of older women, they criticize him for not settling and for not choosing the older woman because he's not young. How old is he? In his 40s, 50s?
43, 44, 42.
Yeah, somewhere in there. And then he um, recycles the girls every time they turn 25 years old, so you're out of the game. And I mean, like look, some men can pull it off, and it's good for men, but women also who sign up for it, they know exactly what they are getting. They know that they will be
Yeah,
replaced eventually, so they are getting paid for it. They're paid well because he also shows them to the higher society, and they get
sure.
contracts. They are supermodels. He's helping out them. They are satisfying him for a short period of time. That's a deal, and then they can do whatever they want. And yeah, he gets criticized by women because they say that, oh, but it's not a good thing for a man to do. He needs to settle, he needs to marry, he needs to lock himself up to one woman and stay with that woman. You see,
Right.
women only respect men who um, can cheat, who could cheat. They don't need to cheat, they don't need to have this dark triad qualities, but this is why they have the game, the frame that they have to follow and
The
execute.
status. I
Yeah, the
mean, Leonardo
stereotype.
DiCaprio, he's got looks and status. He
Yeah.
doesn't need to be Dark Triad, although he might be a little bit, but he doesn't need it. He's got enough status to not need that. But you know who the women love? They love the guy from The Matrix, Keanu Reeves. They love him
Mm.
because he's the guy that gets with the older woman. He's dating a woman that's like maybe 5 or 10 years older than him. Like she's got gray hair, and
Oh.
it's like they love that because he's like 50 maybe. He's around that age, 50, and the woman he's dating is older than him. So they love a guy that they call it dating age appropriately. And but this is a way they shame men though too. Men
Yeah, they do. Hmm.
throughout all history, women's youth and beauty and fertility was always something that men just wanted. The kings would have their mistresses, and the queen was okay with it. It was just the way it was. But this is how it always was. If they could, they did. The issue for most guys was they couldn't, so they didn't.
Well, there was also no birth control back then, so a queen couldn't get pregnant as many times as the king wanted to have sex with. This is why the
Right.
queens were even choosing the lovers for the
They'd be friends.
queen.
The mistresses would be friends with the queen sometimes.
Exactly.
If you read The Art of Seduction or 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene,
Uh-huh.
he talks about that stuff all the time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Art of Seduction is a very good book. It's not like a red pill book, but it's a seduction book. It's pretty interesting. But so men, they've always wanted that. So like a girl who's like 18 to 24-ish, that was always a group that men of all ages would like. And it's just natural. Now, in the book, here's one for you to read too. The Way of the Superior Man. And he talks a lot about masculine and feminine essences. And the thing is, in that, he says if you're a 40-year-old guy, he said it's normal for you to be attracted to an 18-year-old girl's energy and essence. And I thought that's important to say because you can't hardly say that right now without getting guilted and shamed and, oh, you're just a creep. You look at you, a creep. You like a girl that's 18. But like in that book, he says a masculine guy will like a girl that age. It's just normal. So I think
Well,
that's important because there's no shame in there. It's like, no, that's just how it is for a lot of masculine guys. But women have won the social war in that regard. You can't say that right now. You can't say that without risking being guilted and shamed. And, oh, you're just a creep.
That's so true, Jared. And I see it also in the movies how men get ridiculed for. They don't even portray men in the um, sexual mm, beauty, let's say, as they used to in the movies before the
Right.
1970s, 1960s, really. Like if you look at the old movies, how men were portrayed, you could still find where a man were shown as, attractive, like sexually attractive also,
Right.
and women would go from, and women would behave differently also. And
They still
yeah,
do. In real life, they do. Just
they
not
do.
in the
Yeah,
movies. They don't. In the
exactly. Not
movies,
in the
they make
movies,
it.
or not anywhere on social media. That's for sure. And then another
There you
point
go.
that you also made me think of: if we shame men for liking younger women as they age, why not to shame women for liking older men when they are young?
They don't
Because,
mention that part. They don't mention that
well,
part.
exactly, because it
But
doesn't
they do
benefit
though.
them.
But they do. I know there's girls who are 18 to 22. They like older guys and like guys that are almost twice their age old. They like. And you'll
Yeah.
see it. You'll see memes where the girls say, "I'm at that age where I like you, but I like your dad too." You ever seen those
Uh-huh.
memes? So
Oh,
yeah, I've seen a lot of
that's
those. It's
creepy.
but that's the girl that's like in her 20s, like low
Yeah.
20s. She likes a guy that's her own age, but then his dad, ooh, he's the
Yeah,
silver
like
fox.
she wants a sugar daddy for herself. And
Some of
then
them,
they're looking for somebody who has resources. In the end, yeah, with all of the independence, and yeah, I'm a strong and independent woman. Okay, then take your ex-husband of alimony. How about that? Why don't you do
eh,
that? Oh, wait, you are still benefiting from his money. You still want a man. Okay, she doesn't want. Okay, if she is a 7, right, objectively a nice pretty woman, or 8, um and then she finds a man who is, like, then find a 7, find a 6. Why don't you marry down then? If you say by your own words, you don't need no man, you just want a man for fun, just so that he makes you company, or whatever your reasons are for having a man. Why don't you date somebody who is below you?
I think that is starting to happen a little bit now. I think some of the numbers I've been seeing, it's starting to happen because of necessity. Because, like we talked about before,
Mm-hmm.
there's just a lot of women who are doing better financially than men right now. And so, if a lot of women are starting to do better than men, that means not that many women are going to find men, or not that many men will be traditionally attractive to women because they would rather you make more than them. They would. They would rather you do better. But when there's fewer men who do better, they're forced to either settle or just look for other things, right? So it's a weird dynamic right now that's going
Mm-hmm.
on out there, and I'm not sure how it's going to turn out, but we'll see though. We'll see.
Yeah, it's scary. Gosh, it's one of the reasons why I don't want to have children now, because I see what happens to men. I don't like that attitude towards men, but at the same time, I realize that men don't help it, as we've
Right.
discovered through the simpage and pedestalizing women, and they've been
Those
brainwashed.
guys,
Everybody,
they get what they get. Any guy
yeah,
who's going to be simping too hard, they get what they get. I don't
yeah,
have any sympathy for them. I
yeah,
get annoyed, especially at the ones that give their money, all like so much money to the OnlyFans girls. It's like because that encourages
the
something
bad
that
behavior.
I don't think that's good, very good for society. Like there's always going to be sex workers, as they say, but
Mm-hmm.
you don't want that group of people to be too big. I don't think that's very good. But the guys who do that, they facilitate that process.
Yeah,
So
because
I don't.
women with the degree from the medical field, and Rollo even mentioned he has known a girl who, after 7 years of being in the medical field, a medical professional, went into OnlyFans, and she started making way more money on
Oh
OnlyFans
yeah,
than
they promote
in
it
the
now.
medical field, saving people. But if you look at responsibility and liability, okay, a girl who touches her pussy or whatever she does there on OnlyFans, she's making more money than engineers, than people who legitimately provide value to the society. This
It's a shame.
reallocation of
It's a shame.
resources is a shame. It's really
Yeah.
something that really bothers me.
And but who can you blame for that? You blame guys. Guys are the ones that facilitate that. If it wasn't for guys giving them 10, $20 a month or whatever the subscription price is or the price per picture is, they wouldn't be able to do it. But there's a and so basically it's like they're stripping like a stripper would, except it's digitally, so their audience is humongous. Right? They're like
Yeah,
basically
yeah, yeah.
it's a digital stripper.
Well,
But
also,
instead of
Jared, I think guys go for OnlyFans because they realize they can't get it any other way. Because women, in reality, they have no luck with women, and the law is written not in the favor of men. So this could trigger this kind of impulse to go on
sure,
OnlyFans rather than trying to find yourself a wife and marry a woman, because she becomes too high maintenance for that guy, and he doesn't want to deal with you. So it's cheaper to pay the OnlyFans girl for men than to have a wife and bear the responsibility of having a wife and children, because the
less
laws are not,
responsibility for sure.
the laws are, look at divorces, right? They went down because the marriages went down too. People stopped marrying, and um, guys don't feel protected by law, because the law is on the female side. If we mandate the DNA tests that will show the paternity, who the real father actually is, or is that man who is engaged to this woman the actual father? This is what men are mostly concerned about. And write the law that says that if the child is not biologically yours, you are not liable, you're not responsible for this child's and for his
Mm.
mother's life, then maybe this would trigger a different kind of response from those guys. Because I had the same idea as you did about, oh, this seems they are funding these stupid girls who are on OnlyFans, and they don't support the rational content creators. Why not to do that? But at the same time, we all have physiological needs. This is how guys fulfill their needs without taking a lot of burden on themselves.
You know what I say
They
to
don't.
that though? I say porn is free. That's what I say to that. Porn is free. Because I, you know, there's some times a whiles ago where I think I did. I've given like $5 to an OnlyFans girl before. But any money you spend on an OnlyFans girl as a guy is money you should have probably just put towards investing in yourself or an investment. Right? If you put money towards Bitcoin or something in the stock market, any cent would be better off spent there than you would. And like I said, I'm not a big advocate of porn. I think porn has its dangers, but porn is free.
Phone is
Porn
free. Yeah,
porn is free. And OnlyFans is not free.
not.
Not free. And so, that's what I say. I don't blame the women. I don't blame the women for OnlyFans. I blame the guys that create the market. Now, like I said, there are some things in society that they blow up the girls that do OnlyFans and they shout that story from the rooftops. Oh, this girl was a lawyer, but now she does OnlyFans and does better. This girl was a nurse, but now she does OnlyFans and does better. So they promote these stories. Forbes does. And but you
Mhm.
know why they do? I kind of blame them too. But they do
Yeah.
it because it gets engagement on the posts. So again, we're
Hmm.
in the, what does Rollo call it? the attention economy. And in the attention economy, all you need is eyeballs on you. And
Yeah.
you can do well. The more eyeball, and it doesn't matter if they agree with you or even just hate you. Sometimes hating gets you even more engagement and gets you.
Yeah.
Look at H3H3. Do you know who that is?
No, I have to check it.
Ethan Klein is his name. But most people don't like him. But he has over 1 million subscribers, and most of his attention that he gets is from people who don't even like him. And I mean, Dave Rubin, to a lesser extent, was like that a little bit too. He had a whole subreddit of people that don't like him. But there are people who do like him too, so I don't want to say that about Dave Rubin. But Dave Rubin does have a lot of people who don't like him. Do you know Dave Rubin?
No. You're listing me some names to check on.
Good.
I don't have a lot of time. I mostly follow Rollo, whatever he shows out there. So Erudite, I saw her because Rollo was doing the breakdown video on her. And I do follow Fresh and Fit. I did watch quite a few shows with them. And then Access Vegas. Those are mostly
Mike
the ones
Sartain. I like Mike Sartain.
I like him, yeah. He's pretty good and pretty knowledgeable too. Oh, I really enjoyed the I forgot the name of the guy about astrology. They had one guy, Gary, what's his last name? I forgot.
Gary Vaynerchuk?
Maybe.
No, it can't be him.
It couldn't. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Gary Vaynerchuk, the business guru.
Yeah, he was the astrology guy, and they were talking with Mike Sartian and Rollo Tomassi. Very interesting show. It was.
I gotta check him out.
It was a lot of
Patrick
fun.
Bet David too. If you watch Patrick Bet David, PBD, he's you've heard Rollo talk about it. He talks about Adam Sosnick.
Yeah,
Adam Sosnick is part of Patrick Bet David's crew. So Patrick Bet David has Valuetainment. And under the umbrella...
Jedediah.
Yeah, Jebediah's on that umbrella. Adam Sosnick is on that umbrella. Mostly those two, I would say. But Jebediah has a lot of conversations with them. Adam Sosnick has a lot of conversations with people. It's pretty interesting. I would try to get on those shows too. And say, hey, I'll talk to you guys. But they only invite certain people on there.
Oh, their own people. Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, they got to do some that's going to provide some sort of entertainment and get eyeballs, right? Because that's what it's all about. And then Sneeko, like Sneeko would go on there.
What's your take on Sneeko? What do you think about him?
I don't know too much about him. I don't know too much about Sneeko, honestly. I know that he's got some pretty basic takes, and he's still kind of maturing and growing into who he's going to be. Like Destiny has like more finalized takes. Yeah. So I'll give him that part. And then what else is out there? I mean, there's Myron and Fresh. I like Kevin Samuels. Even though Kevin Samuels, he's hard. He's hard on the women, especially single mothers. He was very hard on them. But there was a point to what he was saying. There were some things that were good with what he was saying.
I liked his shows, actually. I was watching them. I miss him. Yeah, I really do miss him too. He was the first one who kind of like introduced me into exploring more and finding more. Yeah. I was just watching him to see the attitude, because I couldn't believe, like, when my husband was telling me this, I'm like, well, I don't think it is what it is, until I started watching those shows, because I was thinking that women cannot be that bad, you know. But then when I saw those, and I was watching them consistently for a few years, I was like, wow, this is really bad attitude.
There's a lot of women that if they hear the word red pill, like there's people who say if you go on a date and a guy starts talking like Tate or mentions red pill stuff, or even just Tate himself. They tell other women, if he likes Andrew Tate, you gotta watch out for him, stay away from him. And that's how some women talk now. So,
Mm-hmm.
or they'll use terms like alpha male, or I don't want an alpha female. But like all the guys that are younger, like I know all that stuff, right? I've been exposed to it for a long time. But I know you can't be like a spurg about it and talk about silliness on a date. You got to just know like some things are appropriate to talk about and other things you probably shouldn't on a date.
Well,
Like
this
even
is why Rollo says don't introduce women into the red pill. I was
right, he's
introduced by accident. I'm grateful I was because I'm aware of what happens, and it really helped me to set healthy boundaries with
right.
people and women in particular, because I know now I can see what kind of manipulations women are using, even on women, you know, and it's really really frustrating, you know.
Sure.
I wish I didn't know that, but I'm grateful I know.
Right. I get what you're saying. Now, like even
Yeah.
Tate though, he would know that there's just certain things. There's a lot to learn from Tate. So if you see how he was on that standout TV with that date on a British girl, just the
Mhm.
way he talks to women in general, like he had a skill of being able to disagree, but in a charismatic way, and like
Mhm.
not in a cringy way. And
Yeah.
that's what someone like MLD and sometimes even Rollo, like they'll disagree, but like they don't do it in a fun, charismatic way a lot of times, like Tate was able to do. And that's part of what made Tate so popular was that he would go on Fresh and Fit and he would disagree, but then he would still get people liking him. The women who disagreed with him would still like him, and he was still friendly. And that's not the way like Myron. He went on standout TV too with that British girl, and it was
Mhm.
just like he did the same talking points, but it didn't have the same effect because he wasn't saying it with the same kind of charisma that Tate was. So it just wasn't as fun for the woman.
I think Rollo did a breakdown on the video with Andrew Tate. Oh, what's your name?
Oh
Chien
yes, he
Reno?
did. He did. He did.
Chien
Yeah, I forget
Reno?
her name.
Yeah, I think it was her, the dark with the curly
Yeah,
hair. That
yeah,
okay, I watched that one. Yeah. And he was breaking down the body language, and Andrew Tate kissed her first, you know, like he
yeah.
like
She
really
liked him.
she
She
liked him
liked
right
it.
away. Yeah.
Right. She liked him even though she disagreed with probably everything he said.
Yeah.
Almost. Right? But that was the skill though, is that he was able to disagree, but in a charismatic way. So they were still like flirting a little bit. He was flirting while disagreeing. And that's what Myron didn't do, right? Myron was on that show. And it was just like a business talk for them. He was just
Yeah.
hammering the
Straight
talking
to the
points.
points. I
Yeah.
I mean I like Myron, you know. I don't I watch like
Yeah, I got
maybe
nothing
it's
against
because
Myron.
of the also girls that they deal with in the studio whenever they invite there are a lot of girls, and if you don't set the boundaries, a lot of the girls, it has improved quite a bit since last year, I would say, because I remember girls would overtalk them. Girls were very disrespectful. It still
Sure.
happens even now, but they have very strict rules. So if girls don't behave, they just remove them. You know, they
Yeah, because they
become
got to
really
keep
odd.
order.
Yeah,
They
they
got to
have to
have
keep the
order.
order. Yeah. Oh, we have a guest here. XL Self is joining us. He's right on the charisma aspect. There are ways to say it in a way that sounds funny and not combative way. Yeah.
Right. And that's what he was really good at. And not many people have come close to him on that either. So
Yeah.
he was able to, like I said, set a clear point, but do it in a fun, charismatic way. So Myron, MLD, Rollo, none of them do it in that way, the way he
Rollo
did.
dance. I look, maybe
Not in
I'm
that
weird.
way. No,
I
no,
love
no.
his sense of humor.
Not
I mean, he jokes. If you listen to him, yeah, maybe at the beginning, I had a friend. She was watching him, and she was like, I don't understand what he's talking about.
Right.
I'm like, well, you wanted to understand the whole thing. I don't understand it, and I've been listening to him for over 3.5 years. And also, in addition to that, to Kevin Samuels, a couple of Better Bachelor. Also, I watched sometimes his videos.
What do you think about Better Bachelor, by the way?
I kind of liked him, but he's from the MGTOW, right? He's not.
Basically, he's
Yeah.
not officially MGTOW, but he
Hmm.
runs in the MGTOW circles.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if he's a monk or not. I'm not sure if he still like gets with women or not.
He
I
probably.
bet I don't know. He might. I mean, I'd be surprised if he didn't. He has got enough status now so that he probably could.
Yeah.
Right? He's got a little YouTube clout.
I was mostly watching him for his content, how he was debunking. I don't remember which video did I watch recently. Uh, Gosh, I forgot. But I liked it. I liked his way of breaking it down. I'm a nerd, I would say. I go into the like all of the like
Right.
details, and if people want
You're
to
a
use,
nerd.
I think so. Yeah.
You're a
I'm weird.
nerd.
Look,
Nerd.
my husband is a nerd, so I judge based on that. I like
Okay.
guys who are nerds, who know what
Here's
they're
the thing,
talking
though.
about.
Like, so Better Bachelor, right?
Yeah.
Once you've seen a couple Better Bachelor videos, you've pretty much seen them all, right? He talks
Yeah.
about be careful. You never know. This woman, she overestimates her value. She might cheat. She might leave a good guy to go get with Chad or Tyrone, right? But it's all the same. If you've watched a couple of them, you've seen them all. Same with Manosphere highlights. Same thing. You've watched them. But people love, as Rollo would say, they love the red meat. They
They
love
do.
the women getting pointed out and called out. They love it. That like, do you watch whatever podcast?
I'm not really a fan of how it's structured because
It's like Fresh and Fit.
it's like Fresh and Fit, except Myron and Fresh have the strict rules, and they
Right.
are following them. They're actually executing them. I respect kind of them more than the whatever guys. It's not to say that whatever guys they don't know what they're doing, but I've watched a couple of whatever podcasts, and I just yeah. I'm not.
It's a Fresh and Fit knockoff, is what it is.
Yeah.
It's just one of their shows, except not.
Not much substance. Exactly. Yeah.
It's
They.
just a wham and ain't shit show, kind of, and they fight.
Yeah.
It's like the podcast of the hour, where all the names go on there. Destiny's there, Sneako's there, Rolo's there. Who else
I
is there?
watched the one
MLD
with
was
Rollo.
there.
Yeah. I watched the one with Rollo and Mike Sartian because Rollo was there. And then I watched the Rule Zero with Rollo. I basically try to follow. If I'm following somebody, I try to watch and consume as much content as I can from those content creators so that I get deeper understanding of why they are saying certain
But
things. So if I'm following you, I'm going to follow like pretty much every one of your
right,
videos if I can. This is why I don't follow a lot of people. Like you were throwing names at me. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what of them.
I get you.
Yeah.
I do a lot of driving, so I listen to a lot of people in the
Okay, you
car.
listen to them.
And so I got
Okay.
time to go and absorb all of the content. But here's the thing, on all those shows, they're just doing the same talking points, the
Yeah.
same debates over and over and over. It's what are the debates? It's should a man be allowed to have an open relationship but the girl isn't? That's one of the. Can the guy cheat but can the woman not cheat? What about hypergamy? What else even are the fights? They'll talk about how what a woman wants. Right? What does she want? The guy is 6 feet tall, 6 pack abs, 6 figure income, 6 inches in the pants, and whatever the other sixes are. right? It's all the same. And so it's those conversations, I don't think they're very productive. It's entertainment. It's entertainment is
For the
what it
most
is.
part.
Because
Yeah.
if a guy is really successful with women, like I'm successful, like you just know you don't talk about it. Like I'm not gonna go
Yeah.
on a date and be like, oh, should I be able to cheat and should you not cheat? And like, do you need a guy that's gonna make six figures income and have six pack abs and is 6 foot tall? It's like it just doesn't come up. Like
It's just
not
the
to talk
fight
about it.
that they get from it, you know? Okay, if people know that it's not very productive, then why are they listening to it? Why are they
Entertainment.
yeah, I know.
It's just That's it. It's just entertainment for people, and it gets people
Yeah.
like you and me talking about it, and other podcasters, YouTubers. They make content about it. They break it down, and it gets a lot of views. There's a lot of probably younger people out there, like teenagers, guys in their younger 20s. They love it.
Well, they are
Which
learning also. Look, if they don't read books, and now we live in the generation of TLDR, too much didn't read, who is going to read Rollo's books? Well, I'm not talking about my
some do.
generation. Well, some people do, you know, but a lot of them, they prefer to watch a show. And then if
Yeah,
they can reveal the female nature in those shows, it actually shows guys what women are thinking about. But at the same time, they only invite these girls who are popular, you know, who are not very
they gotta be
family
pretty.
oriented.
The girls gotta be pretty, right? If the girls are
Yeah.
pretty, guys on YouTube will watch. But if they were all ugly, not many guys are gonna watch. But if they get
Well,
attractive
exactly.
girls on there,
This is why. See, I was thinking about it, like how can we improve so that people make better choices based on the information that they get, and maybe inviting women who are more not like traditional. They could try to invite like tradcon women, you know, who want to be married, who want to have families and children. There are just not that many of them. And then
right?
usually those who are married, they're like, I'll pass on that show. I don't need to be whatever it is because it's crazy.
Right.
I don't want to deal with this crazy. I just stay home with my children, with my husband, and I'm fine and I'm settled. I don't need to be there. I don't need to be exposed there. So I don't need to chase the cloud.
Right.
But those who are chasing the cloud, they are being invited on those shows. It's not to
Sure.
say that the shows are bad. I mean, I really enjoy the shows, like they're from the argumentative standpoints.
But
They,
that's the cycle. The cycle is
yeah,
they're chasing clout, and there's certain topics that are just hot topics right now that they know those people are going to talk about. And I made a video, but we got to wrap up here in a minute.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I
yeah.
made a
Let's do it. Mhm.
video about the 5 things that you really need to know from the manosphere. It's only really 5 things, I think. It's like one, that women love a little bit differently than men. That's the thing. Yeah, very true. So women love differently than men. More women cheat than the average naive guy would think. What are the other 3? Don't get married. And then I had 2 more. Oh, women do not like a man that's too invested in receiving her approval. And there was one more thing that I can't remember. Yeah, there you go. But what's the other thing I said? There's loving differently. Oh, no soulmates. That there's
Oh,
good ones
soulmates.
and
Yeah,
bad
yeah.
ones.
Mm-hmm.
Those 5 things, right? If you can tell a guy those 5 things, you can understand most of what the manosphere is talking about. So that's the meat and potatoes. The cheating part, and is it okay to cheat? That's just a sidebar. That's a sidebar topic, right? Like, would you let your husband cheat? Or would you let you cheat? I don't know, right? Like, but these are the conversations out there right now that people are having. And there's all sorts of open relationships now, too. There's poly relationships, open
Mm-hmm.
relationships. So, like, Destiny's in one.
Yeah, I know.
And so his girl does whatever she wants, and he's got enough status and clout that it actually benefits him because he still gets whatever he wants. He gets a lot of women anyway. But like a lot
Yeah.
of guys, they wouldn't be able to do that. A lot of guys would just be watching their girl go out and have all this fun, and they're sitting at home like, what do I do? Right? And so it's like, that's just how it is. Thank you, sir. Excel Self. I guess you know him?
Yeah, I think Excel Self is also in the red pill. He has been following Torsha. You know Torsha,
I
right?
know Torsha. I
Yeah,
know Torsha's
everybody
on
knows.
she's on the outs right now with Rollo, you know.
Yeah.
Because of Pearly.
I don't know. I don't know what to
You
say.
look a little bit like Pearly now that I think of it.
Oh, do you watch Pearly things?
Not really. I think she's just talking some very basic points. She's just a girl that she says what guys want to hear.
Drama.
That's what she does. She gets that too. She has them all on there. She has Sneeko on there. And she's just, she's blown up. She went from 0. I think she has over 1 million. So I think there's a way where YouTube likes people. Women creators can grow very fast on YouTube if you're in the right little niche, I guess. But so like her, Real Femme Sapien, Jebediah, who else? Courtney Ryan, Your Wingman, all these women killing it on YouTube. And if you watch them, it's like, why are they killing it? It's like, I don't think that most of their content isn't that special, but they got something else that just they're a woman and they're helping men. So Real Femme Sapien, for example, she helps women, but I feel like most of her audience is men.
I was watching her videos at the beginning. I liked her, but then the things that she did, and then she said a few things about Red Pill.
Oh, she did
It's like,
she?
why would you criticize? It's just a general question to people. Why would you criticize somebody who gave you the food, the information, the content that you can base your channel on, and then you used it to build your cloud, but then you go and destroy the person who initially gave you the...
You know why they do that? They do that because they feel like the red pill will hold them down. And so they try to remove themselves from it because they think it'll pigeonhole them. Now, people like Pearl, they've been able to avoid that somehow. Like, she's like Queen Red Pill. You got to keep up with all the talking points. But she's like Queen Red Pill now, right? If there's a queen of the red pill, it's probably her. But I'm going to make a video maybe about Torsha, because Torsha, she's following the clout too, if you ask me. She was MLD's little like sidekick for a minute. Then she switched to Rollo's sidekick. And then when she saw Pearly blowing up even faster than both of them, now she's Pearly's sidekick. So she's like the Meghan Markle of the manosphere. You gotta watch out for her. What is she doing? Following the clout?
It goes against their better instincts. Probably will turn on it once most guys turn on her.
Yeah, if that happens, he's absolutely right. She'll be doing it as long as it's profitable for her to do. But this whole little thing, Rollo has been talking about it, it's going to come to a stop at some point because of the presidential election. It's hot right now because it was in the middle of the elections. But now, starting now, until 18 months from now, politics is going to be the thing. And it may come back. The dating world thing, I'm not sure what will be hot in a couple years, but for 18 months, it's going to go on the back burner soon. And people aren't going to be giving it as much attention. It's always going to be there, though, because there's always going to be sex. There's always going to be relationships. So it's going to be there to a point. It's just a matter of how much.
True. Yeah. Now it's just interesting to see all of those people. Even Andrew Tate, he got into Muslim and religion with Sneeko, and
yeah, he's gone. Where is he?
I don't know where he is. Maybe somewhere in the Arabic.
I haven't seen him do anything.
Yeah,
I haven't seen him do anything recently.
Yeah. At least this is what Rollo was saying, and then Sorelita, I don't know if you know her, she's in the Red Pill. She actually texted me the other day, and she
Who is it?
was saying, oh, what do you think? The girl, I think there are 2 girls now in the Red Pill. It's me and her. And I wish there were more women. Sorelita.
I don't know if I know her.
She okay, well, that's because Andrew has a few charges on him. He's not going to talk on it at all.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
He's laying low, I guess, until those things blow over, because I don't think he's talking about much right now. I'm still on his email list. I get his emails. He sends like inspirational emails like once a day. But nothing else. I haven't seen him. I don't think he's done like a welcome back podcast yet. He hasn't had like a big, here I am, I'm back. He hasn't done that yet. I thought he would, but he didn't. And it might be because of the charges.
It could be that, yeah. I was suspecting that maybe he is a little careful now.
He's still laying low because he's been out of jail now for how long? A month?
Yeah.
6 weeks? He hasn't done anything big. He
probably is not going to. Or maybe if he will, it will be more like under religious.
Something. He's probably rebranding or something. Rebranding how he wants to come out. But his problem was taxes. Taxes are what got him a little bit there. And what he was doing was like the lover boy method thing, which I didn't think was a problem. I didn't think that was a crime. But apparently it is a crime. Just doing what he did and talking about it didn't help him, because he used to make videos about it. So like I wouldn't have thought that was sex trafficking. But by their definition, that is sex trafficking by that definition. So I'm like, oh, well, I didn't know that. But apparently that's what they're trying to, that's part of it, but that's not what he's going to get in trouble for. He'll probably just get in trouble for the taxes, for not paying for laundering and taxes, whatever. When the push comes to shove, it's about the money. Right? They'll get him for the money. And then it'll be it from there. Well, all right, Elena.
Yeah. Well, good talking to you, Jared. Yay.
Always a pleasure.
Nice to see you, XL Self. Thank you for joining us, guys. If you have questions, what happened to Melissa? She disappeared.
I'm going to tell her she's fired.
We'll try to do it one more time. We'll give you another chance. What do you think?
She's trying to be a mom superhero.
Yeah.
So I give her credit. It's got to be tough to be a single mother.
Yeah.
It's a lot of responsibility.
Well, and the more kids a woman has, the harder it's going to be, because each kid knocks down how many points.
Oh, my Lord. It makes your life more complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll try to get more people on next time. I can probably find some people. All right, cool. Elena.
Thank you, Jared. Nice talking to you. I'll see you soon. Right, have a wonderful day, everyone. Yeah. Oh, Jared, tell people where to find you. XO Self, are you following Jared?
Yeah, I got 2 YouTube channels, The Wizard of Radical Self-Respect and Black Sheep's Time to Shine. The Black Sheep's Time to Shine channel is where I talk more about narcissism. I'll talk a little bit about narcissism on the Wizard of Radical Self-Respect, but think whatever a wizard would talk about is what I talk about on the Wizard of Radical Self-Respect. So sometimes politics, sometimes supplements, sometimes dating, sometimes interviews, a little bit of everything.
Yay! He
There you go.
subscribed to
Thanks,
you.
my man.
Nice.
I
Okay, we'll
appreciate
have
it.
to do it. We'll have to do it more often, Jared, because you keep me
Yeah,
on
definitely.
my toes, you know, with the red pill, and you give me names. I ordered the books you recommended me last time. They just arrived, so I didn't have a chance to look through
Yeah,
them.
we should do that. We should do it more
Okay.
regular.
Yeah, sure. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Thank you.
All
I'll
right,
see you
Elena, you have
soon.
a good one.
Bye.
Thanks for having me on.
Thank you.